So we're here at the FinTech North 2018 Leeds event, and I'm here with Zandra Moore. Hello, Zandra.
Hello.
Is this your first time at the FinTech event?
No, I came last year actually, but I was a delegate, so it's nice to be involved in the panel this year.
Well, I don't really know anything about your background. Can you tell us a little bit about you?
Yeah, so I've always been in software, 22 years. And for the last 4 years, I've been running a business just on the outskirts of Leeds by the airport that does AI and analytics, business intelligence into fintechs. We predominantly work in the tech-to-tech sector, so we sell our software which helps businesses to predict outcomes and show them what's going on in their business over their data. But we sell that technology into other technology companies who enable their customers to consume information more easily. But we were actually born out of a fintech business called Pancredit in the region, so we're sort of a fintech out of a fintech, and we've been doing that for the last 4 years.
FinTechception is amazing. So, I mean, how are you finding the day? What are you hoping to get from today? I know you are presenting as well, but
yeah. So I think Leeds is a great city for lots of reasons. We've done a lot of tech innovation in the city over the last 20 years, and I think when you hear Richard Carter talking about Lendtech and we're the home of Lendtech, and that's absolutely the case, and our business is part of that story and the growth of that market. But other stories like Skybet, and we've got a huge number of digital agencies like J-Wing that have acquired Epiphany in the area, and all sorts around call credit and data analytics businesses in the region. I think we've got a big story, we just need to tell it. And I think FinTech North is all about getting the people together that are part of that story and telling it better. So it's nice to get the community together. I still think we have some way to go in telling that story beyond our regional stage, and I think that's what I'm passionate to see what happens out from this event today, is do we actually make this a voice that can be heard in the cities like London, really.
That's really interesting to hear, because I think it's nice to hear a voice of constructive criticism. What would you like to see done differently?
With this event?
Well, with the event, with the community at large.
With the community at large. I mean, I have a few soapboxes, which I like to stand on occasionally. I'm a big advocate of the tech sector in Leeds, and I'm real passionate about getting more women into tech and women into leadership. And I have a number of organisations, one which is a women's networking organisation called Lean In, which I set up 2 years ago. We have 260 women in the city. But I also do a lot around sort of technology and bringing women into tech, and I'm looking at kind of Java for Women programs. And I look at organisations like FinTech North, and it's a very kind of standard format for these kind of networking events. And it's great, and it's absolutely what the region needs. But when I look at the tech sector generally, I think we see, especially with these newer startup businesses in places like the Platform in Leeds, these kind of brand new businesses which are being enabled through places like Future Labs, that the culture of those organisations, the people that are being attracted and drawn to them, like Skybet, there's a need for us to bring the sort of the finance organisations and the way that they sort of present themselves to the tech sector and attract that kind of synergy of networking is very different to the tech sector and how their culture. And I think when you look at today, and I observe today as a woman in a room of a very small minority of women in the room today, which is part of one of the finance sector's dilemmas as they're trying to change, and one of the tech sector's dilemmas. But it is a room of white men, and it is a lot of suits. And when I go to tech events, I think we have a different culture, and I think there's certainly a wave of change going on in technology, of bringing more women into tech, and just the whole kind of removal of the tie and removal of the jacket, which I think a little bit of the finance sector needs to do. So if we shake up this industry, we need to sort of shake up the way we bring people together a little bit as well. And I think FinTech North maybe needs to look at ways they can approach that perhaps next year to really encourage more of the tech sector here, because it feels like we've got the fin and not necessarily enough of the tech.
So you say 22 years in software?
Yeah.
I mean, what
You're about to say how good I look. Thank you. It's fine.
So you started when you were 5.
Thank you. Very kind of you.
So how do you feel that things are kind of changing and moving? Do you think that there's an acceleration of the kind of pace of change? Do you think that there's a kind of a real sea change happening with the kind of proliferation of peer-to-peer and things like this?
You know, the tech sector is, you know, doesn't matter whether you're in, as we are in data. I mean, we've been doing analytics for 15 years. It's now called AI. You know, we've been doing it in finance, predicting people that won't pay their loans for a very long time. So every year there is another language for something that perhaps already exists. So I think technology is always moving at a pace, and therefore sectors are always trying to keep up. And perhaps sectors like finance are just starting to realise that that they maybe haven't embraced that change as fast as other sectors in the UK and on a global platform as well. So I think you know, there's always a need for industry to play catch up. Manufacturing is another industry that is trying to do that at the moment. But yes, you hear blockchain, you hear AI at these events, and you know, there is a certain level of healthy scepticism in these technologies. And the only way we're going to accelerate that change is by, again, bringing these communities together, helping to perhaps dispel some of the myths about what this technology is or is not, actually making people realise a lot of it's been around a very long time and is very established, we're proven, we've been doing this a long time, and actually get the confidence in the sector that this is not a risk they're taking. This is something that that they should be considering in anger and making an investment in, and the only way they're going to do that is by getting closer to the people that are inside that technology sector. So there is a challenge, and when you mash two very different cultures together, there's always going to be a little bit of a friction, and I think we've got to find a way to take some of that friction away, I think.
Just last thing on the level of your experience of the conference today. I mean, how has it been for you, and what are you looking forward to this afternoon? And also, I would like to hear any kind of specific suggestions that you might have for how you'd like to see things done differently. So again, back to one of my soapboxes, which is getting women into leadership, women into tech, and making sure that we have fair and equal representation of those voices at all levels in organisations and events like this. I think for me there are lots of communities which perhaps these network organisations perhaps are not being heard in, and I think today our realisation is that there are an awful lot of talented people across all sorts of diverse areas of this economy locally, and it's not just about women. You know, it'd been great to see more students here today. It would have been great to see more diversity of people from other countries, and actually some more people from the south hearing what the north have got to offer. So I think it's about how can we connect with a wider range of people and attract them to this agenda, and make sure that we're not just talking to the same people all the time. So for me, more diversity of attendees would be great, and I think there's a great diversity of speakers, but I would like to see a wider presence in the room, hearing what those speakers have got to say, because there's some great content. Maybe we can institute a suggestion box and you can fill it up with postcards.
Shove it in, yeah.
Thank you very much for your time, Zandra.
It's a pleasure, no problem. Thank you, will do.